Hello friends, welcome to G-Centric. So in this lecture, we will solve the problems based on the mesh analysis. So in the first question, they have asked to find I1, I2 and I3. They have already mentioned the direction of I1, I2 and I3, either it's anti-clockwise or clockwise. Now most of the students can first think of solving this by the method of nodal analysis. Okay, so you will identify the three nodes 1, 2 and 3, then you will get three equations and you will solve this. But here whatever they have asked to calculate the current. If you use the nodal analysis, then you will have to calculate the voltage, node voltages, then you have to calculate the value of the current. Okay, so flowing in each of the branches. So in nodal analysis it will be an extra step. Whereas if you take this one, mesh analysis, in this also you will get three unknowns, that is I1, I2 and I3. In nodal also you will get three unknowns, that is V1, V2 and V3. So in both the cases you need to find the three unknowns, but in nodal it will be an extra step, but in this case we will reduce the one step. So now if you observe this circuit, you have got the case number 3 that we have seen in the previous lecture. So case 1, case 2 and case 3. So this case 3 indicates that it has got an ideal current source in between the two mesh. Okay, so whenever you get the two ideal source in between the two mesh, then you can write this equation as, okay, so see in which direction it is. If this is ideal current source, it is in the upward direction and it is 2 amperes. Okay, the current I1 is flowing opposite to this ideal source and current I3 is flowing in reference with ideal current source. So what you have to do, so this I3 is greater than current I1. So our first equation will be I3 minus I1 equal to 2 amperes. Okay, so this is equation 1. But we will rearrange this one in terms of first I1, I2 and I3. So this is nothing but minus I1 plus I3 equal to 2 amperes. So this is equation number 1. Next, after that what we have to do, second step is to, if it is a super mesh concept, so whenever this ideal current source comes in between two mesh, it is called as super mesh concept. So when you have to write the equations for both the mesh simultaneously. So if I rub this part, then you can combinedly write the equation for loop 1. So I will write it here. Okay, so for loop 1, the equation will be, so if the direction of the current is in this way, this will become plus and minus, this will become plus and minus, because I1 is dominating in this loop and in this loop this is dominating I3, so this is plus and minus. Okay, so now writing the equation, what I will get, minus 2I1, then minus 6 into, so here I1 is dominating, I1 and I2 are in the same direction, so I will write I1 plus I2, okay, then minus 1 into, so I3 and I2 they are in opposite direction, so this is minus I3 minus I2, then you have got minus I3 equal to 0. So if I simplify this one, I will get minus 2I1 minus 6I1, then minus 6I2 minus I3 plus I2 minus I3 equal to 0. So further simplification, minus 2I1 minus 8I1, then I have minus 6I2 plus I2 minus 5I2, then minus 2I3, which is equal to 0. So this is our equation number 2. Next, consider the loop 2. This is for loop 1, where we have written both the equations for both the mesh simultaneously. Okay, now coming to this loop 2 for I2 current, okay, move in that direction, you will get plus 5 volt. Okay, then you have got, so this will change now, the current is in this direction, this will become plus and this will become minus. So this is minus 1 into, so the direction of the I3 current and I2 current is opposite, I2 will be dominating, so I2 minus I3, then again minus 6 into, what equation will you get? Minus 6 into I2 plus I1. I1 plus I2 equal to 0. So simplifying this, what I will get? So first minus 6 I1, then minus I2, minus 6 I2, it will be minus 7 I2, then plus I3, okay, this 5 goes on the other side, it will be minus 5, and this is the equation number 3. So now we will use Cramer's rule to solve the equations for the unknowns I1, I2 and I3. Okay, so applying Cramer's rule. So we will write this in the matrix form. In the equation we have minus 1, then we have got minus 8, this is minus 1, minus 8 and minus 6, and for this equation we do not have 2, so it will be I2 will be 0 in this case. Here it is minus 5, then here it is minus 7. I3 is 1 and I2 is, okay, sorry, in this case equation to I2 is minus 2 and here it is plus 1. So this is nothing but I1, I2 and I3. So this will be equal to 2 amperes, 0 ampere and minus 5 amperes. So sorry, 2, then here is 0 and minus 5. So this is the matrix for this one. Now to find the determinant, to find the I1, it is nothing but del 1 upon del, then for I2 it is del 2 upon del, I3 is del 3 upon del. So del is nothing but the determinant of this matrix. Okay, so this, for this one you can either find by the old method, okay, or just by the normal way of finding the determinant. Okay, so I will use the normal way of finding. So minus 1 into, so this will go, this is minus 5 minus 14, then this is 0, then minus 1 into 7 is a 56, minus 6 5 is a 30. So this will be equal to minus 5 minus 19, this will be plus 19, then this is minus 56 and plus 30. So this will be minus 56 plus 49. So in 6, if 9 goes 7. Okay, so minus 7 is the determinant. Okay, now after this we have to find the del 1. So for del 1, how do we find? I will rub this equation. Okay, so for finding del 1, you have to replace the first column with this equation. So writing the first column, replacing it with 2, 0, minus 5 and writing the remaining two columns as it is. So 0, minus 5, then minus 7, 1, minus 2 and 1. Okay, so for this also we can find the determinant. Okay, so 2 into minus 5 minus 14, then 0, minus 1. So this is plus, minus and plus, so this is plus, and here I have made a mistake, it is plus. Okay, so this is minus, this is plus 56 and this is minus 30. So this will be 56, it is not minus 7. So 56 plus 19 is 15, 5, 6, 75. So minus 30. So this is 5 and 4. 45 is the determinant. Okay, 10 plus 56, yeah, 45 will be the determinant. So plus 1, this is 0, then minus 25, you will get minus of minus 5 minus 14 is 19 and minus 38, then minus 25. So this will be equal to 13, 5 and 6, minus 63. So the value of I1 will be del 1 upon del 45. Now this will be simplified to 5 21, 5 and 7. It is minus 7 by 5 amperes. So once you know this, you can put this here, you will get I3, and for calculation of I2 again you can use the same rule, but in this case the middle column will be replaced with 2 0 minus 5, and in the similar way you can calculate the answer for I1, I2 and I3. So this was asked in the recent GATE question, that is in 2018 in instrumentation branch. Okay, so it is important to know which method to apply. So if you apply nodal, there will be one step extra to find the current in the branches. Okay, we will take up the next problem. Coming to the second question, we have to find the value of V1 and V2. So we have got a dependent source introduced in the circuit. So 2I is the what type of dependent source? It is current dependent current source. So this I is the clue, and this clue is given over here. Okay, so now we can apply the nodal analysis instead of applying the mesh analysis. Okay, so we will identify the nodes first. Here this has got the same potential. Okay, so we already have V1 denoted by in the question itself. So we will mark this as V1, and this is our reference node. Okay, so which is grounded. So now once we find the value of V1, then this potential is also same as V1. Okay, so this potential is V1, means we can find the value of current I. So once we find the value of current I, then we can see the voltage drop across this one and this one, we will be knowing that. So once we apply the KVL in this loop, we will be able to get the value of V2. Okay, so for that we will apply the nodal analysis at V1. Okay, so V1 minus 0 upon 4, then we have got outgoing current, then plus, so here it is V1 upon 4, then we have got V1 upon this one. Okay, so this is plus 2 minus 2I, okay, which is outgoing, and we have got this incoming current which is equal to 5 amperes. Okay. Now after this we have to find we have got two unknowns, but we have only one equation. So this we have to eliminate the value of I. To eliminate the value of I, we will apply the Ohm's law. I is nothing but V upon R. So R is V1 upon 4. Okay, so the here node voltage is V1. So replace this replace I with V1 by 4. So it will be V1 by 4 plus V1 by 4 minus 2 into V1 upon 4. Okay, so this is just 2I, this is plus 2I, sorry, because it is outgoing current. Okay, so this will be equal to 5. Then we have got, so this is 4, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 V1 equal to 5. So V1 is equal to 5 volts. So this is the node voltage of V1. So once we know the V1 value is equal to 4 volt, then we can find the value of I, which is nothing but 5 upon 4. Yeah. So this is 4, yeah, this is 4 by 4, 5 by 4. Okay. So when it is 5 by 4 current, then the voltage drop across this will be 5 by 4, then 4 gets cancelled, it is nothing but 4 volts. So here we can find easily the voltage drop, 5 ampere of current is flowing through this resistor, so that is 20 volt. Now we know the voltage drop across both the resistors, so we can apply KVL. So when we apply KVL, what we will get? Apply KVL, V2 minus 20 minus 4 equal to 0. So V2 is equal to 24 volts. So this is minus 20. So what will be the voltage drop across that? I is equal to V is equal to I into R. So 5 into 4. So here the voltage drop is 5 volts. Sorry, this is 5 volts. So here it is 5 volts. Then this will become 25 volts. So this question was asked in GATE 2015 EC branch. Okay. So what is the technique used here is, we will apply the nodal analysis. So these are at the same potential. So this whole node is taken as one node, that is V1. Then for apply the nodal analysis for the branches, V1 upon 4 and outgoing current is all the 3, but incoming we have 5 ampere, so we will write it as 5 ampere. Then the hint for this is given in the circuit diagram, that is here I. Then this equation can be written using the Ohm's law, that is V by R. So it is nothing but the node voltage is V1 upon 4 ohms. So we will get the value of current I. When we get the value of current I, we will apply the KVL, Kirchhoff's voltage law, around the loop, so that we will get voltage drop across this and we will be able to find the value of V2. Okay. So this is about the mesh analysis. So now we will see the comparative study based on the whatever we have learnt in the basic solving techniques and advanced solving techniques. Okay. So in the basic solving techniques we have learnt Ohm's law, KVL and KCL, and in advanced solving techniques we have learnt nodal and mesh analysis. Okay. So this Ohm's law is applicable only for linear networks. Okay. So if it is a linear network, then we can apply, and the one more condition is temperature must be constant. Temperature should always be constant, and it is applicable for both lumped and distributed. So it is applicable for lumped and distributed networks. Okay. So now for this KVL and KCL, so this is applicable for linear and non-linear. Okay, so it is applicable for linear and non-linear, but whereas Ohm's law, it is applicable only for linear, and it is this KVL and KCL is applicable only for lumped network. So we have seen in the definition, okay, KVL and KCL, it will be applicable only for lump, not for the distributed network. So now coming to this nodal, sorry, so this can be applied for both. It can be applied only for linear networks. Okay. Then for this also what, temperature must be constant. Okay. So is it applicable for lumped or distributed? It is applicable for lumped. Now we have learnt one more point in this one, that it can be applicable for both planar and non-planar network. Okay, so we have seen what do we mean by planar and non-planar. Okay, so basically planar is 2D network and non-planar network is for the 3D networks. So similarly for the mesh, the first 3 points remain similar. Okay, it is applicable for linear network, then temperature must be constant. Okay, then the third one is it must be applicable only for the lumped network, but the fourth point changes, mesh analysis is only applicable for planar network. Okay. So this is the comparison between Ohm's law, KVL, KCL and nodal and mesh analysis. So this is basic solving technique and this is the advanced solving techniques. So in this chapter we have left with one more chapter, that is source transformation. After we learn about the source transformation, the advanced solving techniques is finished. Okay, so in the next lecture we will move on to the source transformation and we will see in which networks we can apply the source transformation. Okay, thank you.